Hi there, very good video. I must say I pretty much agree with all of it, in as much as I'm capable of understanding it. It's an interesting comment on the interplay between philosophy and power. I would say that any regime, any system of social organization requires a philosophy to back it up, to make it real, real enough that one can say that one is simply enforcing either A, the will of the gods, or B, just scientific truth. First of all, I'd actually say that power, as such, only exists here, only in the human mind. I don't really believe that there is such a thing as power out there. That's why I'm sort of wary of the conspiracy theorists. They seem to think that there's some sort of power out there that we don't really know is manipulating us behind the scenes. Well, if that's what's going on, then it isn't really power at all, because these people don't really have the power to mold our world for us. But that's another story. So in order for someone to actually be a king or a dictator or a Joseph Stalin, say, or an Adolf Hitler or a Queen Elizabeth II, we have to somehow mold the minds of the subjects into believing that there is such a thing as a king or a leader, a great leader. Because when you, take off the kingly vestments, the crown, take off the dictator's uniform, well, there stands another human being just like any other. So what is it that makes us offer our blind obedience or our respect or our reverence to this one individual? It's all here, of course. Somebody has told us there is such a thing as a king, there is such a thing as a ruler or a ruling group, a ruling caste. Tradition, ideology, all of these kinds of things combine to create a mindset that says that, yes, this is legitimate. The key point is legitimacy. What makes a ruler a real ruler, or a ruling group or a ruling system real? What makes any of that real is here. Nowhere else. It's just you're able to get enough people to think a certain way to accept your power as real. That's power. Mao said it came out of the barrel of a gun. Not really. Power is more likely to come out of here, to get people to believe that you are the boss. Again, that's why you need religion. The faith-based regimes of the past said this is what God or the gods have ordained to take place on earth. You get enough people to accept this, and there's your regime. Now, I'm not going to say that the people at the top of the heap didn't believe it. They may have. We don't know. They may have actually believed themselves. The people, the master puppeteers at the very top, may have actually believed that they were doing God's will. It's possible. I don't know. But you see the importance of ideology and power. The one cannot exist without the other, which is why you had Arthur and Merlin as a team lording it over the Anglo-Saxons. It wasn't the Anglo-Saxons, it was the ancient Britons in any event. That's why you had the Catholic Church and the aristocracy as two pillars of the same system. The modern mind tends to undervalue the importance of the priesthood in maintaining the regime. They tend to think, well, the sword really is what's important, and I would actually put the emphasis on the other side of affairs. I would say that the priest is actually more important to the regime ultimately than the aristocrat, the knight, was. Because the knight can say, do as I say, or I'll coerce you, or I'll kill you. The priest can say, do as I say, or you will burn in hell for all eternity, and get people to believe that. So it's a question of emphasis, and it's a question of power. And I would say, at least in terms of my experience, I've seen a lot more people groveling to priests than groveling to temporal authorities. So the two are important. The two are very important. In fact, the one cannot exist without the other. And as you say, they tend to the ideological point of view tends to abuse something which I believe that we all have inherent in us: the desire to understand what's going on around us. The desire, the need to make sense, to cope with this crazy world that we've been tossed into more or less randomly. I don't claim to understand very much about the universe around me, but I have categorized it in my own head in a way that suits me. I've probably taken a bunch of ideas that other people have inserted into my head, but I have the option of accepting it or rejecting it without being burned at the stake, what other people have told me. I can say that I don't believe that, and just because I don't believe something, it doesn't mean the secret police are going to knock on my door and ship me off to the gulag. I have that option. But ultimately, my freedom is here, just like power is. My freedom is the freedom to see and perceive the world the way I want to see it, without fear of heresy, without fear of thought crime, without fear of someone else telling me that what I'm thinking is just plain evil. Or even if they do tell me this, they can't really do anything about it. So yes, it is important. Ideology and religion are important to both freedom and unfreedom. Everyone has their own ideology, everyone has their own philosophy, their own religion, their own way of looking at the universe around them. But so does every totalitarian regime. So does every authoritarian regime. It's just a question of who has the ultimate say on what reality is. The authoritarian, totalitarian regime says, this is the way reality is. Anyone saying otherwise is to be corrected or removed. That presupposes a whole bunch of things, i.e. that truth only exists and truth is perceivable in a certain correct and incorrect way, and then our perceptions of truth can be communicated, yada, yada, yada. That's why I think that ultimately totalitarianism and authoritarianism will fail, because they're trying to shoehorn reality into a certain way, and inevitably will fail, because inevitably reality, as it were, will go on behind one's back. So it is an interesting paradox in a universe that is positively riddled with paradox, that religion and philosophy are the dictator's best tools, or religion and ideology are his most potent tools, but they are also the very things that make us free. Thank you.